my dear friends, to another reflection. Even though the disciples had observed Jesus healing all kinds of illnesses, the miracle of the feeding of thousands in the desert really threw the disciples for a loop. All four evangelists wrote about this miracle, and two of them wrote of two similar miracles. So it really had to be very important to the disciples to share this news, what Jesus said and did that day in the desert. And what does Jesus do? He challenges the disciples to perform the same miracle. No need to send them away, he tells them. You give them some food yourselves. Just imagine being told by Jesus to feed thousands of people on 2 loaves of bread and a few fish. Can't you almost hear the disciples' objections? But Lord, there are thousands out there. You know we cannot do it. What's strange is that they didn't ask him to do it. But they didn't. Anyway, Jesus did exactly that. And so many leftovers. Wow. So what does this miraculous feeding of thousands in a desert say to you and me today? For one thing, I am reminded that although this is not the case at this particular moment in our world because of COVID-19, we and millions of Catholics are fed every weekend with the body and blood of Christ, which is a far greater miracle. Then too, this miracle should make us realize how blessed we are. We may not have as much as we want. It's not always the case, but we have more than we need. In fact, most of us have more than we need. Money, clothes, look at my own closet, food, and so on. Sure, we struggle, and we are anxious about a lot of things, and yet we know we are blessed richly, abundantly. We should be so grateful to our loving God. Much more important, this miracle should make us think of the many in our world less fortunate. Hungry people make up, I would say, the largest part of our world today. The problem is we can become immune to pictures of emaciated bodies, of children with bloated stomachs, or of thousands of hands reaching out for the food being offered. This should disturb us. Unfortunately, we can change channels and often do. We end up doing nothing because of our limited resources of earthly goods or physical ability. We may not realize it, but each one of us is a vital part of the solution. Jesus reminds us that even if we give a cup of cold water to someone in his name, we will be rewarded for that. I wonder if you noticed this. Jesus does not place any conditions on his gift. He did not demand anything of them before he provided the food. He fed their minds and hearts with his words, and then he fed their bodies. He had compassion on them, and he healed their sick. He was interested in their welfare, both soul and body. Now, Jesus calls us to complete his work on earth. There are still so many people desperately hungry for food just to keep alive. Can we remain spectators in today's world? Watch all this without caring? Christianity is a call to action. How can we read the story of the feeding of thousands and remain indifferent or detached to these desperate people and their children? Christianity is about witnessing, and the whole idea of witnessing is to go and do likewise. The opposite to love is not hatred, but indifference. God is love. So, if I am indifferent and don't show care, then I must seriously ask myself where God is in my life. It's a basic question that only we can answer. Did I mention that this was one of Jesus' greatest challenges? To take care of his poor and to feed his hungry? I believe this is what we signed up for. We do have to become more involved. And we should also recall Jesus' words that we'll hear again at the last judgment day. I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. And you know the rest. Now, how much of that do we take into our lives and try to live it to the best of our ability? I'd like to end. No, I do end by asking God to bless you and your loved ones today and every day.